Hey guys, welcome back to Halftime Blues, episode number 2. Yes, it
Whoop,
is
whoop.
very it's great to hear hear you guys again. See you. I guess you guys are hearing us. Anyway,
You can tell me that it's great to see me, Sean.
yeah, it is good to see you
Swag,
because
dude.
we're actually recording this on our webcams and putting it on YouTube. So if anybody uh, wants to do that, see our lovely faces and see the faces behind the voices, you can
Well,
do that.
see our faces in potato form.
Yeah, it's true. It's not the best quality, but um, anyway, if you haven't heard by now, where have you been living under a rock? Because sadly, Liverpool have won the Premier League.
Why do you sound so stoked, Sean?
Oh, you know, you know, 30 years. It took them 30 years to win the Premier League. Absolutely crazy. It is a very cool story. I won't lie. Just coming from it, being a Chelsea supporter myself, if I was a Liverpool supporter, I would be absolutely over the
Yeah,
moon right now. Um,
100%.
I won't lie. Seriously, it's incredible. Um,
A good friend of mine is a Liverpool supporter, and I saw him yesterday. He was beaming from ear to ear. He was so happy. He had like a spring in his step. And you know what? As much as I hate that they've won, it was cool to see him stoked. And I gave him a little wink and said, "Yeah, welcome
like,
to the club, mates. Took you 30 years."
just 30 years. How old is he though?
He's like 24. So like, dude,
How does that even happen? This is what I was wondering today. I'm like, how do you support a club that's won nothing growing up? It's strange. Like,
well,
how do you like join that
they'll
train?
they'll be quick to remind you of 2005.
Oh yeah, no, okay, that's true. Yeah,
And as
I
a
get it.
City fan, I mean, I have to walk away when they bring that up. I mean, what can I say, So
Yeah, but I mean,
fair play.
Porto won it in 2004, and you don't see everybody like as Porto fans, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
okay,
they won it in pretty boring fashion, to be honest. Kind of
yeah,
like how we won the league. Was it 2018, 2019?
I think
No,
so.
2000, 2017, 2018, where United or Swansea beat United, something lame. And
Oh, and
that
they gave it to you.
and that yeah, we won like sort of not, not playing live. So that's
Yeah,
kind of how Liverpool won it in sort of uh, coronavirus fashion, actually, if you will. I mean,
and
they
Chelsea
can't.
gave it to them too.
Yeah, dude. This is why I went into the City Chelsea game with almost no hope that we would win. I don't know what it is, dude. Have you ever had that feeling when you go into a match and you just for some reason you just have this gut feeling that you don't trust your guys to pull it off. And
That
like
happens every time Ross Barkley starts on our
well,
team.
he started against
I
us.
I know I messaged you saying, "I've got no hope. You guys are gonna thrash us."
Yeah, so Sean literally was like sending me message after message. Oh, we're gonna lose. He was sending me formations, and the whole time I was like, "You never know, dude. You never know, dude." And the reason why I was saying that is because twice in the last few years, you guys have helped the champions elect become champions, which I find
And
is a weird ass stat.
don't forget, 2016 when Liverpool the famous slip match, that was against
Yes.
Chelsea, and that granted, I think they lost a match after that against a lower league team, but that pretty much was the slip up against us. So
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
got a knack of doing that. We've got a knack of if it's not us winning the title, it's us deciding who's going to win the title, which is a pretty cool thing to have. I won't lie.
Yeah. 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 It was a weird match. Well, let's talk about the match.
Wait, but before we do that, I just want to say for all this talk about Liverpool um, being so great, I mean, there was talk about them winning the league by February. I just wanted to say it took them until June, and they had to rely on another team for them to win.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but seriously, they were pretty good. I
No.
mean, over the whole season, they did well. I just want to say this up front. Any Liverpool guys listening, like, well done, sincerely. Like, you are, I would say, the best team in England at the moment, probably
Yeah.
the best team in Europe.
Yeah.
And don't, yeah, don't hold on to it too long because I think some other teams are coming for you.
Yeah, what Sean said. I mean, the thing is, as much as it pains us that they've
Oh
won
yeah,
it and that all
yeah.
of their fans are going to rub it in our faces for the next while, There's no denying that they were unbelievable this season. I think they've only lost one game, that weird game to Watford where they lost like 2-0 or something.
Yeah, there's
I think they've
Watford.
only had a few draws and
No, no,
everything else is a
yeah,
win.
sorry, Premier League they lost.
Yeah, Premier
They've
League,
lost
yeah.
other games.
Yeah, they were just absolutely dominant in the Premier League. It's unreal, actually, how well they played. And so I think they were really, really good. And I think the rest of the league was also really, really bad.
I
The
agree.
standards were really off. So they were like the reason why they're 22 points ahead or whatever the difference is. I think that's down to to two things. They were really, really good, and everyone else was really, really bad. I mean, we've lost our eighth game now for this season, and that's saying something, you know. Uh,
And the drugs.
oh yeah,
We've got a conspiracy theory about that. We'll maybe we'll try to chat about that another time.
hashtag doping, bro. This is mark my words, or maybe don't mark them, but in 2 to 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 years time, we will have a podcast on this show about the conspiracy.
I hey man, I've seen I think you told me about this. Sorry, I haven't seen this. You told me. I've seen Virgil van Dijk catch up to
Adama
ah
Traore
Traore.
from
That's it.
Wolves.
I've seen that, and I've seen Henderson catch up to Leroy Sané after
Yeah,
being turned. I'm like, you're on the
yeah,
back foot. He's accelerating ahead of you. How do you? Anyway, I think that's a bit of a rabbit trail. We
yeah.
won't get into that now. Uh,
That's not our
just
agenda today.
for viewers, listeners listening in, we sincerely think Liverpool might be doping, but that's our personal opinion.
I think
Don't want to tank the win. Well done, Liverpool. Blah blah blah.
Kloppo maybe has some sweet ass German drugs or drinks.
Some
I
drugs,
believe it's a drink. It's like a magic drink. We've actually read an article about it. It's not
articles.
like yeah articles. It's no secret. They have this special drink that apparently doesn't have drugs in it. It just helps them recuperate and revitalize and whatever. But anyway,
Yeah,
that's our conspiracy
yeah. That's enough
for the
talk about
month.
Liverpool. I feel like we've wasted too much time talking about them.
Yeah, and you know what happened a lot during the City Chelsea game is that all the commentators did was talk about Liverpool.
Exactly.
So let's swiftly move on to the City
It
Chelsea game.
and it was a good game, even though you guys lost.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great game all around.
it was. Do you know why I don't? Why like I had a sour taste about the game. Like okay, yeah, you're always gonna have a bit of a bum feeling if you lose, but the reason why I was really frustrated is because both goals were mistakes or they were unforced errors. So like that
Yeah,
Mendy Gundogan mix up where Pulisic
that was
got the ball,
hilarious.
just really dumb. And then the second goal, obviously from the penalty, that's just okay. Fernandinho deliberately handballed that. I don't care what you say. He's 100% trying to stop that from going
Suarez,
into the back of the net. He pulled a Suarez for
shame
sure.
on it.
And you know what? I don't blame the guy though. I think sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's kind of like a reaction. It's all happening so fast. I mean, how many goal line clearances do we have? Like
On both
in
sides,
that
many.
game and just before that point. Yeah, it was insane. Um, but both of those were unforced errors, and the Fernandinho sending off happened because De Bruyne had a crap pass into the midfield, and then you
Yeah,
guys countered.
yeah.
So that for me was super frustrating. Your counter attacking, wow, it was
Well,
really on point.
let's like break this game up. We're gonna just spend a bit of time reviewing it. But before we do that, can we just take a moment to laugh at Arsenal? They just I think
Ugh,
the match before they won this last week. Well done. So now what's his face can go plant his 3,000 trees. Um, but
Bellerin.
Bellerin, they lost to Brighton. And hey, this is
Yeah.
I mean Chelsea have lost to some poor teams this
But
season. It's been
hold on. They lost to Brighton,
but the
but
way that they lost.
they also gave David Luiz a 1 year contract extension
Oh no, he got sent off. He was
against us.
responsible for both goals going in.
Against
Um,
us.
yeah, and oh, was that against you guys?
That was against
Am I getting
us, dude.
mixed up?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
they've
yeah.
lost
And then
twice.
yeah, and then he got
Turned into one.
red carded. So
That's
obviously he
it.
wasn't
He got
playing against
rewarded
Brighton.
with a new contract.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
unreal.
brilliant. Shame. I've got a few Arsenal friends, and I actually I do feel sorry for them. They're just, and you can hear it. You hear it in their voices. Their club's a mess at the
Do you know
moment.
what? I still back Arteta. I just think he's
Oh
got
yeah.
bum players.
No, he does.
Don't.
I agree.
Those guys don't know how to see out his game plan, you know. So
Yeah.
shame. Anyway,
Anyway, okay, so let's break down the Chelsea City game. I just quickly want to talk about the lineups at the beginning. Um, I messaged you as I said, looking at our lineup, I thought that was a very uh, not poor. It was a very you could say experienced lineup. But some of those players I just thought were not going to be good enough.
like
I
Alonso,
said Alonso, Ross Barkley in the middle, Willian, and Giroud. I do rate Giroud. Actually, I dig Giroud. He's
but he's
amazing.
not he's not a run in behind pacey kind of guy.
He's not.
Whereas
S-
Abraham can.
yeah. So, and I expected us to. I expected one or two things. I expected us obviously to sit back and hold our shape and then counter, which is exactly what we did. Um, or I expected Barkley and Mount to play as like double eights, which they did going forward. But I thought we would take the game to you a lot more, which we didn't, and it was okay. And it's actually good to see Chelsea play this type of game against teams like City and Liverpool, or maybe like a Spurs, where we can show that we can hold our shape. And I mean, bro, I was watching it like you guys couldn't break through us at times. We were
Yeah.
literally just row of players, and
But
we were
let
like,
me
okay,
let me address something about that quick though. So
yeah,
Aguero obviously got injured against
yes,
Burnley.
he loves to score against us.
And he really does. But not only that, that sort of forced Pep's hand into this false nine idea. And so against you guys, we often found ourselves with Bernardo Silva running down the middle as a false nine, or Sterling or Mares. They would swap the whole time. But I feel like that failed a bit. I think De Bruyne and Gundogan were struggling to find like breakthrough passes, and we had Gabby Jesus on the bench. Like
Yeah,
for me, he's a really great young, energetic striker. He's done a really good job at City. I think he's already got 16 or 17 goals this season. I mean, he scored that header against Real Madrid. Like this, he's confident. He's on form.
he's a good player.
Yeah, so I just don't get the thinking there of not playing him, because he would have given who was in your back line, Christensen and Rudiger. I think he would have hassled them a bit and put pressure
So,
on them. Whereas Bernardo and Mares, they don't have that athleticism that he does.
yeah.
So that for me really frustrated me from an attacking perspective.
Sorry, when you said Rudiger, that was another player I was
Uh,
worried about. In my mind, I'm seeing four players, and this is just me personally, that I don't rate, and I was scared. But just the more the game went on, and you guys came at us really hard at the beginning, but the more I saw that we were just holding our shape and doing really, really well as a team. Our
yeah,
defense is still a bit up and down, but as a team, we just sat, hold position. Christensen was absolutely amazing in terms of our defense. That's the best defensive game I've ever seen him
yeah.
play. And then when did the first goal go in?
Well,
Let's
it
talk
went
about
in sort of first half, late first half, I think. We had
then
the
what
ball.
happened.
The ball was passed back. You guys were obviously pressing a bit. The ball was passed back to Mendy, but Gundogan was run. I've watched this back. Gundogan was running towards the ball, and he put his hands
Told
out.
me
He
to
said,
go away. Yeah,
"It's fine. I've got it," because he was running. And then Mendy went and kicked the ball to try and pass it to Gundogan, but Gundogan was already by the ball, like he was going to receive it.
yeah.
And he
Total
basically
brain.
passed the ball to Pulisic, who's pacey as heck.
Yes.
And he basically just made a fool of both of them with his
But he
pace.
did
And
well because the tackles came in. Mendy, you could see at one point, you
Mendy
probably watched the same clip, like Pulisic was waiting for him. He's
Mendy
like, dive
Mendy dived in. Pulisic was he toyed him.
in.
He waited for the he like encouraged him to come dive in and then accelerated away. It was a really good run. And then a neat little finish into
Yeah,
literally the bottom corner. There's nothing you can do about it. It was just a great counter-attacking goal from his part, but a gift from our
it
perspective.
was. I was gonna say Mendy was actually playing incredibly well before that.
And
Um,
then his confidence dipped after
then
that.
it just
Yeah,
dropped. And I still think he's actually a phenomenal left
yeah,
back.
yeah. He's
So
awesome.
technical.
He's
I've
awesome.
seen on Twitter the rounds are going around of how he's like useless and he's finished. I'm like, no,
No, dude,
not in this.
He's one of the best left backs for whipping the ball in on the wing very quickly. He doesn't have to take a touch like some of these Oaks need. They need to like stop the ball and then look up, and then this guy knows where he wants to put it. He'll whip it in first time, and he's very smart with where he puts it. Sometimes he'll even like look at the byline, as if he's gonna whip it in there, but he pulls it back like 45 degrees to an open midfielder. He's actually a really great left back, but his problem is, and he does this often, if he makes a mistake, you can see he's very tentative throughout the rest of the
Yeah.
game, and that's what happened.
Well, it was pretty much Chelsea for a bit, and then who
We
gave away
came
the free?
back. We came back. You have to admit we put on quite a lot of pressure in the second half early on,
Yes.
and that's when we scored the free kick. We were getting a lot of fouls in a good area, um,
Who
and
gave away our foul to give you the free kick? Do you remember what happened?
I think it might have been Barkley for that one.
Oh, dang it.
I think it
Okay,
might. I think it might have. I mean, I stand to be corrected, but
I can't remember. Doesn't matter.
it was a typical Kevin De Bruyne free
It
kick. If you
was
know how he takes free kicks, he doesn't like whip it where it bends. He knuckleballs it. So
that sounds
he'll
like a euphemism. I'm gonna whip it away it bends. What does it mean?
no,
It
like
means
if you take a free kick, you can like put curve on it, and
yeah.
then so it goes over the wall, but also curves into the
Yep.
net.
Yeah.
David Luiz does the alternate technique, which is to knuckle. They call it a knuckleball. It's weird,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they hit it at such a like way that there's not much spin on it, so it
For sure.
dips.
Yeah.
And if you watch back, it goes so straight, but it dipped like a mofo.
Yeah.
Like as it goes over the wall, you're thinking this thing's flying high into the stands, and then
Yeah.
it just comes
I
down.
mean,
And
that guy, he couldn't even stop it, bro.
yeah, he kind of just
Couldn't
gave up
stop that.
halfway
Yeah.
through his dive. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
crazy goal. I was stoked there, and I was thinking, cool, this is
Yeah.
gonna
And
this is gonna
that's
turn
when
around.
after that goal, you guys came at us like I was like,
Hectic.
this is gonna be runaway. I think Sterling hit the post just after that.
That
Um,
yeah,
like,
exactly. That came like 2 or 3 minutes after Sterling
yeah,
hit the post after a great counter-attacking move by us. He was one on one with the keeper, but you know what? He made a mistake still, in my opinion. Jesus had come on since
I thought
then.
you meant signing for City.
No, no. Oh my gosh. Um, Gabby Jesus had come on, and if you watch back the clip, Sterling could have literally just done a sweaty pass
You could
up
have.
to him, and he would have brought your keeper and the two defenders on Sterling out of play, and it would have been a tap in.
Yeah.
Literally, he could have even taken a touch and then tapped it in.
Yep.
But Sterling tried to go for it himself, and Pep speaks about this all the time. If you miss those key chances, the game can turn around. You can lose the game. Like if we went
Yeah.
2-1 up there, could have been a different story. We might have had all the possession. Or all the pressure might have been completely on you guys. You might not have countered the way that you did, and then Fernandinho might not have had to handball to stop it from going in. The whole game could have been different. So I was frustrated by that. I really hope that Pep tries to instill like that last movement into the players, that last pass, that final touch, that final play, that extra awareness. Because I'm telling you now, if that was Neymar, Messi, and Suarez back in the day, that's 100% getting passed up to the free
Whoever's there.
guy.
Yeah.
They sweaty gold the whole way through those few seasons
Yeah.
because they just knew exactly how to put the ball in the net, and that's what we don't know how to do. In fact, none of the Prem teams know how to do it.
Yeah. Liverpool to a
They
certain
they,
extent.
they do to a certain extent, but there's still many shots that they take away. I'm like, dude, you could have passed it to your
Yeah.
player and it would have been a tap in. Do you know what I mean? Like that
Yeah, for
happens
sure.
often in the Prem. Guys kind of just want to score themselves. It's not. They're a little too selfish, in my opinion. Anyway,
Yeah. So how did you feel at the end of that match?
dude, I just turned my laptop off. I was watching on my laptop. I turned it off and I started editing a podcast for a client. I was so over it, dude. I didn't open Twitter. I didn't open Facebook because obviously all the Liverpool fans were going off their rocket.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and I just got on with my life, to be honest.
That's true. Like, I mean, we started talking about Liverpool, but it was a very significant game because it handed Liverpool the title.
Totally.
And they are the champions of England, which is
But
very strange to say.
it was more significant for you guys though to get the win because obviously
Oh
you
no, I
you
totally agree.
yeah. Like
We
for
needed
me, it
that.
was just like, oh, our eighth loss of the season. Well, I'm used
Yeah.
to this now, you
Well,
know?
yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk about that because you guys are, I mean, you guaranteed second place,
Yeah.
pretty much. But then there's an interesting race from third down to third, I think it's like fourth, fifth, even sixth. Wolves, they're pushing. Sheffield have dropped off a bit, but there's a tight race happening there. And I'm so glad that Chelsea won because in my mind, I kind of looked at the fixtures and you can do like a little fantasy uh, thing in your head, and I was like, okay, we're going to win this match, maybe pull a draw off here. And when I got to the City match, I was like, okay, that's a loss for Chelsea, getting no points there.
Yeah.
And to win that was huge, and just gives us such a boost. But we still have to play. I think our last two games are Liverpool and
Wow.
Wolves, and we play a few of the teams fighting for relegation to keep up, and those are always tough matches. I think we play three of the bottom four or five, and we play Sheffield. So we got a really, really tough run. Even on paper, it looks easy.
Yeah.
But you know the Premier League, when you play those teams right at the end and they're fighting for their lives,
Yeah.
like they're pretty much you could play any team on that day. You don't know who's going to pitch up. Um,
A
so you
good
guys are guaranteed, but um, where do you think Chelsea will finish out of interest as a City fan?
Well, the way that you played against us makes me like really believe you will be the fourth one, to get into the European place for Champions League. I just think you guys are showing a lot of potential now under Frank Lampard, and he's beaten the likes of, Pep and a few other big managers. I mean, you guys knocked Liverpool out of one of the cups, right?
Yeah, yeah,
With
FA Cup.
Lampard.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's really doing well against the top six sides, in my opinion. So I really think that you guys will push through. I think United are too sporadic. They can be like they've been like this since Fergie left. Really, they can be so good on the
yeah,
day, but they can beat like a high flying City, for example. But then next week they lose to Swansea or something
yeah,
stupid, And
yeah,
so I just think you guys have the consistency, and you're really showing some insane potential under Lampard. I like the way that he plays. I like the way he deals with these players. I think he's going to be a
yeah,
great manager.
yeah,
So yeah, coming back to United battling for fourth against you
yes,
guys. A good friend of mine is a United fan. I mean, we've all got good friends that are United fans, right?
yes. We have to,
Yeah, it's just life, I
unfortunately.
guess.
Yeah.
Uh, and he, the day after he came to me, he's like, "You guys had one job, the one time I support City, and you bottle it." And I actually got a lot of satisfaction out of that because it's
Oh yeah,
fun.
of course.
I don't want to help him.
No,
Or help his team. I'll help him. He's a good mate, but not his team. So yeah, that was funny. But yeah, man, I definitely think you guys will pull it off. I'll be surprised if you don't. And you know what? Even if you don't, we might be banned from the Champions
I
League.
know.
So if
So the
you come
fourth,
fifth,
fifth position could get in.
you might get in.
High possibility. Well, I mean, that's good for United because they might finish fifth. Well, Wolves could
True.
finish fifth. Who knows? So what's your top four predictions then?
Well, obviously Liverpool, City, Leicester, and Chelsea. I mean, I basically said it, didn't I?
You think Leicester are going to stay? Do you think Chelsea will overtake Leicester? I
Ah,
think they're 1 point behind currently.
are you only 1 point behind?
Yeah, if I'm not
Okay,
mistaken.
I kind of have to back Brendan Rodgers in the way that they've been playing all season. They've been doing really well. I kind of have to back them to get
But
top
their
four.
their
So
form's dropping at the moment.
okay,
2 losses, a win, and 2 draws in the last 5 games.
yeah, okay, that's tough.
But who knows? I mean, I
I
thought we'd
think
lose against you guys. So
my heart says Leicester will get it, and I hope they do. It's cool
yeah,
to see smaller teams get those spots, but my
yeah,
head says okay, because of their form, they'll probably drop out, and it will be Liverpool, City, Chelsea, United.
yeah.
That's sort of what my head's thinking there.
I think it'll be. I think Liverpool, City, and I think Chelsea are going to jump Leicester. We, I think we might sneak in there and get third, and I think Leicester will finish fourth. Um, that's my thoughts. But yeah, who knows? What do you guys think? In the comments, if you're watching, if there's um, somewhere for you to comment, let us know what you think your top four is. Obviously, we know number one
Yeah.
being Liverpool, and most likely number two, City. But let us know your thoughts. And from that, let's just chat a little bit about Liverpool because we have to,
Yes.
because the whole world's talking about it and we want to
Sh-
be relevant.
shall I get
Um,
us started? I've got a frustration
yeah,
to get off my chest.
do it. Go for it.
So during the City Chelsea game, obviously De Bruyne smacked that beautiful free kick into the top corner. And I don't know if you've noticed, because it's summer now and because games are coming thick and fast, they've got those water breaks halfway through
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
each
Yeah.
half. And so what they do on these water breaks is that they broadcast into the Premier League studio where those wonderful,
Michael Owen and
wonderful, wonderful
all the
commentators
Liverpool and
or
Man United ex
pundits
players. Yeah.
are giving their opinions.
Yeah.
And they went on to dear Michael Owen. Kevin De Bruyne had just scored the goal. I think it was still 1-0 at this 1-all at this time. And the commentator or somebody said to Michael Owen, Michael, it's shaping up to be quite an exciting game. Um, like what a goal from Kevin De Bruyne there, or something along those lines. Like just
Yeah.
asking him for his thoughts on the game and how he was feeling, because obviously he was wanting Chelsea to win so that Liverpool would get the title.
Of course.
And then you know what he did? He said, "Yeah, wonderful goal, from wonderful free kick by Kevin De Bruyne, very similar to the free kick we saw last night for Liverpool by Trent
Trent
Alexander-Arnold."
Alexander-Arnold. Of course.
I'm like, and
Oh,
and guys, you have to understand the reason why that frustrates me is because it wasn't a comment about Liverpool winning the league now. It wasn't a comment about the freaking game either. Alexander Arnold's goal was not, it didn't happen that night. It
yeah.
happened the day before, and he couldn't just say Kevin De Bruyne's goal was an amazing free kick. He
Yeah.
had to end his conversation or his comments off on, talking about Liverpool again and bringing up them again. And I'm not trying to take away from Alexander Arnold's free kick.
No, that was a great free
He's
kick.
got insane technique. He's so
Yeah.
good. It's just the principle of, he literally says, amazing free kick by Kevin De Bruyne, and then blah 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 blah. Liverpool, 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 and that's Sean and myself's absolute pet peeve about Liverpool is
Like
that
a media bias.
there's such a media bias with United and Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's just unreal, and maybe
What
it's
is it?
because
The history.
I think it's the long history, but also all these pundits are
The ex
ex
players.
Liverpool and ex Man United
No, it's true.
players.
It's like when Neville and Carragher go at each other. I'm just like, you guys are like two old ladies who just need to just get off TV. I
But I
just
think people absolutely love their little
no, no,
rivalry.
they love it.
And they really milk
They
that.
soak it up.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, that's a problem with modern football. It's all about money, and you have to say certain things, and you got to ride on that bandwagon. I mean, it was similar when, I mean, it was nowhere near as sickening as it is now. But when Leicester were winning the league, it was just all about Leicester, which was great. But that was like that kind of story never, ever, ever happens. It's like a once-off. Um, yeah, you
Well, I
got
can.
Liverpool winning the title for the first time. They're no Leicester, right? They're
Yeah,
Liverpool.
you expect
Like
them to win
seriously,
it,
yeah,
but they are
it's
acting
hard
as
not.
if it's like an underdog pulling off the impossible,
Yeah. Well, 30 years is a very long time. I actually did I checked out what was happening in 1990. That was the last year that Liverpool won the league. So I googled it, 1990, just to give listeners a little bit of perspective. This is the last time that they actually won the league. This is also why it's such a big thing. Um, so the World Wide Web was not even around yet. It was actually the World Wide Web was proposed as an idea, and later on in that year, the very first web page was created. But it was only in 1991 where World Wide Web was created. So they literally won the league before the internet. Um, The Simpsons, it aired for the
Wow.
first time in 1990. Nelson Mandela was released from Robben Island in 1990.
Jeez.
West Germany won the World Cup in 1990.
What?
Some movies that came out, Home Alone, you remember that one?
Yep.
Ghost, Dances with Wolves, Pretty Woman, Die Hard 2, and Godfather 3. Those are the movies that came out in
Jeez,
1990.
like
So that's a long time, man.
that's crazy.
So I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rah, rah, rah. Well done, Liverpool. Now, can we all just shut up and move on? that siren, that noise, that whistle, that is time for extra time. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift over into extra time. And what I want to talk about is one thing: is the FA Cup is coming up this weekend. Who are you guys playing?
We are playing. I don't even know.
I also forgot. I feel like it's Leicester. No, Chelsea are playing Leicester. Sorry, you
No,
guys
so
are playing some.
yeah,
We should
it's
know this stuff. This is terrible.
no. I know it. So it's Sheffield United and Arsenal,
Yes,
and Leicester and Chelsea. That's all tomorrow.
yes. United
Uh,
just beat Norwich like about 20 minutes ago. They beat them.
oh damn.
It went
Okay,
down to extra time. Harry Maguire, fathead, scored a goal right at the end.
nice.
Not nice.
Oh well. Okay, and then we also play Newcastle tomorrow.
Ooh,
So
Newcastle.
it's Sheffield United, Arsenal first, Leicester City, Chelsea, and then Newcastle City. And you know what? I can't call this one because we've had poor performances at St James's Park the last couple times out. So
It is St James's Park with St James's Park people and fans inside it, though.
that's true. That's true. It
Be
could feel
different.
like a neutral ground. So yeah, it's going to be an
So,
interesting game.
well, let's just talk Chelsea City. What are your predictions on those two games?
I think you guys will win. I think you'll. I think it'll be a close. I think they're not in good form, and you guys are. So I'm gonna say 2-0 to you guys. And you know what? I'm gonna big us up, and I'm gonna say we're gonna bounce back from our loss to you guys and win comfortably 4-1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I agree. I say you guys will win. I think our game will be much tighter. That's what I'm seeing. But I think
Okay.
Chelsea will get through, and I feel like it'll be in extra time
Wow.
or
Cool.
even penalties. I feel like it might just be might go a little bit longer than I think. Um, any transfer news coming out of
Big
Manchester?
news. Big news this week. It's been
Spill the
all
beans.
over Twitter and all over, all of
Oh,
the
then it's good.
city related journalists. Like, I don't know if you know, but in the sports industry, or in the Premier League at least, there's often journalists who just dedicate themselves to a particular team for
Yeah,
a company. So I follow a lot of journalists who work for their newspapers or their blogs or their sports companies, who they just follow City. So they're very, very knowledgeable, and they've built up a lot of contacts at the club as well. Kind of like insider information to an extent.
yeah.
And the news is that we are going to sign Kalidou Koulibaly from
Ah,
Napoli.
he's a
Uh,
great defender.
yeah, an amazing defender. Apparently, he's also said to all of his people that he believes he'll be a City player next season.
Wow.
So, look, I mean, it's a really cool a good signing, I think.
Yeah.
It would be awesome to have someone rock solid next to Laporte,
Yeah, he would be your Van Dyke.
because right now we've got Stones and Otamendi and Fernandinho, and I mean none of they can put in a good performance every now and then, but they're not like absolute beasts who perform like Laporte. I mean, he bails them out all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Have
that's our big transfer news. The
you
only
seen?
downside to this is that he's 29 years old.
Hey, I mean, PK is what, 33, 34. You had like Puyol, mid 30s, top of his game.
I know. I
I
think
feel
we'll
like
get
you finish
three or
him.
3 good years out of him, and maybe 4, 5, or 2 or 3 after those 3 good years that are like more squad rotation sort of role.
Yeah.
But
Who who knows? I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. Yeah, I mean, look at that, 4 years. What could you do in 4 years if you get a player in his prime? Usually defenders hit their prime, I'd say like 28 or so.
mm,
So you could get some good years out of that.
yeah,
And bro, he is phenomenal. I've seen some stuff. Obviously, when Surrey came to us, I was looked at all of the Napoli videos and matches and highlights. And Koulibaly, how he just starts all of the plays from the back. Um, he is incredible. Like he is able to just play well under pressure and just get some phenomenal passes just to break lines to get straight into the
wow,
midfield.
that's awesome.
If you sign him, you will be signing an incredible player. That would fit Pep's style too in his philosophy.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
Anyone
the
else?
No, that's the only one, but it's a big one in my opinion, and
Oh yeah,
apparently it's dubbed to be around a sort of 65, 75 mil transfer. So,
jeez.
yeah,
So good luck
interesting.
dealing with the Napoli owner. That's all I'll say. He's a piece of work, man.
Awesome, lovely. That's just what I want to hear.
Yeah. Trying to
And
think.
you guys?
Chelsea. There's obviously Kai Havertz, which is going to be ongoing for a while. Apparently, we've put in a bid, but I don't know how true that is. It's a lot of back and forth. Apparently, it'll be a long game with Kai. Obviously, just tonight, Leverkusen didn't get into Champions League. That just happened.
Oh wow,
So the chances of Kai leaving are very high right now.
wow. Okay, that's good for
And
you guys.
Chelsea really, really want him. Madrid were also in there, but the problem with Madrid is they're so stacked in that midfield cam department, like those areas that Havertz can play. So I feel like if he had to come to Chelsea, he would. I mean, he'd be our star player alongside Werner. Um, so who knows? Potentially that could happen. Otherwise, we are always in the market for a left back. Um, we need a left back because Emerson and
He played well
Alonso.
against us,
Yeah, he
but he's
did.
no long-term
No, he's
solution.
not. He could be our backup. Like I dig him because he scores against Spurs, and I love that. But
Just play him against Spurs.
yeah, exactly. So we're interested in Tagliafico. I know that's someone we've been linked with, and obviously Ben Chilwell, but Leicester putting a very high price on his head. Um, so yeah, between those two, and then there's obviously some. I mean, we're like always linked with all the players. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
There's Gabriel from I think it's Leon. He we've been linked with, and the last person I know is Said Ben Rama. He's a winger from Brentford in the Championship, but this
Wow,
guy's a complete baller. He would be
wow.
like, and he's Algerian too, so he's like Hakim Ziyech. I just watch his stuff and I get excited. So apparently, if we don't go for Kai Havertz, we would go for him because he's a cheaper option, and then focus on a big player maybe next season. But bro, I'm so stoked as we like how it currently is. Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner. If we could just get a good left back, that would be it for me. I'm like that would be a phenomenal window um, to do that. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
that's it.
There's actually more transfer news that I need to chat about, but it's
Oh
not
yeah,
incoming, it's outgoing.
oh yeah,
And Pep announced this week that Leroy Sané had
yes,
declined 3 uh, contracts,
yeah,
and he said he wants to leave.
uh-huh.
And if 2 clubs, meaning City and the new club that he would transfer to, can make a good agreement at the end of the season, then he would leave. Otherwise, he would stay for his full contract, which would mean he would still be a City player next year.
Yeah.
But obviously, he would then leave on a free after that. So that wouldn't be very good business. I
No,
think they will sell him this season.
yeah, it makes sense. Just get in there.
So that's bleak for me. I love him. I think he's really fast and dynamic, and he hasn't reached his peak, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
So that's a big loss for us, and there's nothing else I should say about this.
Well, let's wrap it up. I've got a quick game for us. Quick fire game.
Sweet.
You remember that game? You might not. It's really not politically correct, but I think it was called Cliff Shag Marry. So boys would play this game where a boy would give another boy like three girls, and he would have to choose to throw one off the cliff. I know it's terrible. It sounds horrible. To shag the other one and then marry the other one. Just yeah. Anyway, moving on swiftly. I thought, why don't we play this for football players for our clubs? So it's called Sign, Release, Keep. You're gonna name me one player you would love to sign, one player you would release immediately, and one player that you would keep at your club like forever. They would never, ever, ever leave your club. So sign, release, keep. Who would it be?
Okay, I'm gonna go backwards because I don't know the first one. Keep 100% Kevin De Bruyne.
Hmm.
Like I just don't ever want to face the day that he leaves our club
Yeah.
or gets too old and has to leave. It's gonna be bleak. Release Nico Otamendi, 1,000,000,000%. He's
Yeah.
short, he's slow, and he's very rash. He makes dumb decisions, and he just oh, dude, I don't even know how he's still in the team. I'm not even gonna continue talking about it because we won't end this episode. And to sign, uh, you know what? This is going to be kind of the boring choice, but I'll say bring on Koulibaly. I want him
Nice.
definitely signed and in our club. I'll tell you why. Because Otamendi's getting the heck out,
Yeah.
and we need a good defender. I mean, you guys tore us apart on the counter attack. We need someone who can uh, hold up that pressure and when the midfield has been beaten, they need
Yeah.
to be able to defend. You know what? I didn't mention this before in the episode, but I have a feeling that us. So if you know, against Arsenal and Burnley, we didn't concede a shot on target,
Wow.
and I kind of think that sometimes we have such easy games, or we play so well attackingly and in the midfield
Yeah.
that our defenders kind of just like they
Yeah.
don't
It doesn't
get put under
show.
pressure. There's not
Yeah.
like Edison's just chilling there, and our defenders don't really need to do much. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that they still defend and they do stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm saying they're not put under that pressure where they're being countered like you guys countered us,
For sure.
and so sort of they're not expecting it, you know. So
Yeah.
those are my three. Nico Otamendi, get the hell out my club. Kevin De Bruyne, stay forever and don't get any older. And Koulibaly, come join Laporte. Let's do things.
Nice.
Okay, go for it, bro.
Jeez, sign, release, keep. Keep. If I said this last year, it would be Eden Hazard, but it's too late. He's gone.
Yeah, that don't count. That don't
Yeah.
count.
Anyway, who would I keep? I would definitely keep. Um, probably N'Golo Kante.
Yeah,
He's just
that's a good one.
irreplaceable. You can't. Got to keep
That's a
him.
good one.
You'd stay a club legend. You'll become a club legend. Release. This is an interesting one. Obviously, it's. Oh man, I want to say Barkley. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say Barkley. Even though he's showing a bit of form,
Mm.
and but just so many times, I just yeah, I can't. Barkley, I've got a few in my mind, but I'm gonna say Barkley.
Yeah, I
And
think he's the most underwhelming player in your team.
oh, he is. But then randomly he'll just hit some form for 2 or 3 games
Yeah,
and be
yeah,
good. But that's not good
but
enough.
that's not good enough.
Just
Yeah,
go. And then sign. The easy one is Kai Havertz, but I'm not going to say that. I would say I'm actually going to go for a goalkeeper. I'm going to say Onana. Um, he's a
oh nah nah. What's your
what's
name?
his name? Onana. That's his name. Ajax goalkeeper. I think he'd be great. He's
Yes,
fun.
yes.
He is an incredible shot stopper. He would play as a blah, 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 out of our team.
He's flipping
So
good. He's so underrated, actually. How has he
he is.
not been like bought up?
I know.
Yeah,
Totally. He's phenomenal. So we were linked with him, but I don't think anything's going to happen. He says he wants out of Ajax, but who knows? So that's it. That's who I'd sign, release, and I would keep.
awesome, awesome,
Boom.
awesome, awesome.
But that is all the time we have for today. That is a wrap. Yeah, it was good chatting, bro.
Yeah, dude. Thanks as always for the episode and for your thoughts.
Yeah.
And to all of our listeners out there, if you enjoyed Halftime Blues or you enjoyed tonight's episode, please give us a like,
Please
share the
help us
episode with your friends. Uh,
subscribe, do all
we've
the
been
things.
we've been given a year by our wives to make this thing really work and
Yes.
become famous. We need to become TikTok famous
Come
basically
on.
within the year.
The time has gone.
Otherwise, we got to crash and burn this show.
Yeah. So your support is appreciated. Check us out on all of the podcasting platforms and tell your friends.
Peace.
Peace out.